Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya Madam Mazia Muhammad. So, saya nak go through topik pertama. Topik pertama adalah topik introduction part. So, dalam topik pertama kita akan tengok what is OS, apa itu function of OS or responsibility of OS. Kita akan tengok a bit history about OS. Kemudian kita akan tengok type of OS. Okay, kemudian kita akan tengok characteristic of OS, function dan juga characteristic. Dan itu adalah, dan sedikit about building sequence. So ia adalah semua dalam topik pertama. Okay, dalam kelas previous kita dah go through about what is OS. Okay, tetapi madam nak recall balik. Kalau kita talking about what is OS, OS is a part of software. Is a piece of software which manage and coordinate the hardware and the software. It control every file, device, every search of memory and every nanosecond of processing time, and control who can use the system and how. Okay, so there are four functions of OS. Okay, yang pertama adalah OS become a resource allocator, which is here kita boleh guna perkataan resource allocator ataupun sebagai manage hardware resources. When talking about hardware resources here, we are talking about CPU, memory, all I/O devices dan sebagainya. Yang kedua ialah OS sebagai control program, which will control the execution of program untuk prevent from error dan juga improper use. OS provide an interface between user and hardware. We know that hardware, user cannot directly communicate with the hardware, but it must go through the operating system. So OS provide this what we call user interface. User interface kat sini adalah, it depends on the OS. Either OS itu adalah command line based or graphical. Okay, so yang terakhir adalah OS provide the abstraction of the hardware. We know that the hardware is very complex. So in order for the user to program the hardware is really complex. So that is why OS hide the complexity of this hardware, so that user do not need to know how to program or how to control the hardware. It just use strictly use the function form. So itulah empat function of OS. Alright, what is the goal of OS? Goal of OS adalah, yang pertama adalah, of course, is convenient to be used. OS make a computer more convenient to use. So when we choose the OS, we must understand, we must agree that one of the goal adalah convenience. Must be convenient to be used, efficient. And OS must 100% fully utilize the resources. Tak kira lah is either hardware or memory. That is the best thing. Fully utilize means that really efficiently use the resources. Ability to evolve mean that we know that today there are a lot of software, a lot of new gadget. Alright, so we need to make sure that all these new devices will be able to evolve with this kind of OS. So tak kira lah OS itulah Windows based or Linux based. Any devices connected to that computer or operating system, it can be used. Alright, so then we look at on OS computer system. Okay, here we have what I explained before. Okay, we have 4 layer. Layer yang paling bottom adalah is a hardware resources, which is here means CPU, memory, I/O, and all the basic computing resources. On top of hardware, we have this kind of OS, or we call as operating system. Here in CSC204, we will look at on 3 type of operating system. One is Windows based, 2 is Linux as a command line interface, and we have 100% command line interface, which is DOS prompt. Okay, what is OS here? OS, of course, we have a look on the 4 functions just now about first how OS manage all these resources, how OS coordinate and control the program, how OS become the interface, and how OS hide the complexity of this hardware. And on top of OS, we have system application program, which is the application that we install in your computer. Application or program, which is the purpose is to solve user computing problem. And on top of the application or program, we have multiple user. In this case, in multi-user environment, we have more user connecting the computer. So we have user 1 until user number n. Alright, so a bit history about OS. Alright, so this I just go through very we call as a very short. Alright, so first generation of OS, actually you guys already learned in CSC 134, CSC 159, sorry, about history about the computer. So it's the same. Computer is related with the operating system, because without computer, without the OS, computer won't function. Alright, so for the first generation of computer, we don't have any operating system. Alright, so for the second generation, is a start a new operating system being introduced. At this time, is punch card, is we call as bash operating system being introduced. Alright, and the third generation here, which is in IC technology, we have more what we call more advanced of OS, which is more on multi-programming, time sharing system and spooling. Alright, and today we have in fourth generation until today, in VLSI technology. Alright, so we have more advanced operating system, which is the operating system is for personal computer and workstation, open source, virtual memory ability. We have a program using English, DBMS, current system, multimedia and internet, worldwide internet. Okay, that is about history about OS. Okay, so now we move on. We try to understand what is type of operating system. Alright, so first is Bash OS. Bash OS is first OS or earliest OS being introduced in earliest computer generation, which is in second generation, which is it rely on punch card as input, a punch card or tape as input, and we have what we call we have user not prepare a job, but we have a combination of sequence of command, right? So here we the output is actually maybe go to the printer, maybe go to the memory, right? So here the output calls the result of the program, which is done to the file memory, which is here maybe register content, but for the debugging appear after minutes, hours and days. Alright, so in this case CPU often idle because everything done by program. Alright, everything done by IO and the operation done by a programmer. So CPU idle, CPU is not busy. Operator bench job with similar needs and run them as a bash group. Alright, so second, we have time sharing system. It's much faster compared to bash OS, but it's much slower than real-time OS. Alright, it required the development of time sharing software, which allow each user to interact directly with the computer system via command enter like a terminal. Alright, there are few characteristics of time sharing. Pertama ialah it provide direct communication between user and system. It different with the bash OS, because bash OS user not control. It been in sequence of job, but then for time sharing is directly communicate between user and system. CPU in this OS execute multiple job by switching among them. For example, in single core environment, so we have one processor, so multiple job, multi-program per program will be switched and then executed by one processor. We have interactive computer system. Response time should be short, but again, it's much slower than real time. Alright, allow many users share the computer where shorter signal is required for each user. So in time sharing, because we have multiple user environment, so it allow many user to be share on the same computer, but in one time dalam satu masa hanya one user can be access that particular processor. Use CPU scheduling and multi-programming. Alright, so job swap in and out of memory to the disk, because we know that in multi-user environment, there are a lot of program need to be open and closed, because maybe memory is not enough, or maybe memory is not really enough for multiple application running. So we need to swap in and swap out. Alright, memory from the hard disk, the data from the hard disk. Today memory very frequent. Alright, number third is a real-time system. Real-time system, there are two types of real-time system. We have either hard real-time or soft real-time. What is the difference between these two types of real-time? Right, hard real-time is critical task must be completed on time. If that task not completed on time, alright, what we call is the time need to be ultra fast. But system response time must meet the deadline or risk significant consequence. Maksudnya kalau tak meet the deadline, contohnya dia bagi tempoh in 1 millisecond. Alright, dia bagi tempoh 1 millisecond and the response must be within 1 millisecond. Sekiranya the deadline is missed, alright, risk total failure if the predicted time deadline is missed. Maksudnya akan ada total failure, akan ada significant consequence. Alright, so data is stored in ROM and secondary storage always limited on none. In this real-time OS, normally kita tak memerlukan more secondary storage. We need only store in ROM. We don't need normally in real-time system there's okay, update later. The computer is very small because it's used for a specific purpose, and again there is no many secondary storage, like we don't have what we call, we don't have hard disk, we don't have CD-ROM, we just have ROM as the hard disk, as the RAM, or as the memory itself. Okay, and the second type of real time is soft real time, which is missing the deadline still can be considered, but the result will be suffer, performance will be suffer, or degradation will be suffer. Maksudnya they will decrease the performance but not the total system failure. Alright, as a consequence of missed deadline. Alright, a critical task always get the priority compared to yang tak ada, yang non-critical. Alright, cannot be used for industrial control, and example used in multimedia, and then we need advanced OS features. Alright, so this is an example of application use real time. First is detection in radar system, right? Process monitoring and control, communication system, flight simulation control. We have autopilot, transportation, and so on. Alright, and not last, we have 5 here as example. Actually, we have more here. Example, another type of OS we have which is a mobile operating system. Alright, number 4 is hybrid system. This system, the nama the hybrid is combination between bash and interactive. It appears to be interactive because individual user can access the system and get fast response. But alright, the system actually accept and run bash program in background when interactive load is live. Okay, so another one adalah embedded system. Embedded is actually we add the function, or we add extra special function ataupun extra functionality or features. For example, in embedded computer like electrical appliance, automobile. The system must be very specific task and not interchangeable among system. Example used in automobile engine, fuel injection system, home appliance, controller, weapon, senjata api, iPod, digital cam, and cell phone. Some people will get confused. What is the difference between embedded and real time? Some application in real time, some application don't need in real time because still can miss the deadline, still can be acceptable, Alright, but we need the features or special features or added the functionality to that particular application. So that is what we need as embedded operating system. Alright, so that is about type of OS. Okay, so we done our class for type of OS. Shall we continue, or maybe I think we start first for the first video, and then we continue another video which is OS function and component. Alright, that's it from me, Madam Mazia. I hope you enjoy my class. Alright, okay, bye. Till we meet again on the next class or the next topic. Okay, bye.